Coach Mel, Mr. Island Work. I'm here with my guy, Dream Basketball. Let's get into it.
Risky business of going against the grain. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. On the head. It's radicals, you know what I'm saying?
At what age did you get introduced to the game of basketball?
The age I got introduced to basketball, 7, 8 years old. Started playing ball, housing tournaments, street tournaments, 7, 8 years old.
Where did you start playing basketball? Where were you at that time?
I'm from Harlem, so everything was pretty much in Harlem. All the tournaments is in Harlem. Go to the Bronx here and there, but just playing in Harlem.
All right. And who introduced you to the game of basketball?
I say my pops introduced me to the game of basketball. Him and my cousin, they had me out there just working. I used to be watching like N1 clips, going outside dribbling. My pops saw I had fun with it, I loved it, and he had me stick with it.
Who were some of the coaches when you were younger that you looked up to and had a great impact on your life?
Rick Pitino. I used to always like Rick Pitino. That was one of like my dream schools, Louisville. I used to always watch Sebastian Telfield's tape. Used to watch Tiny. Used to see like him being a young coach and just relating to the kids, being himself and winning. That was most important. Like he's winning, just being himself. So those are two that I really used to lock in with.
Nah, I just thought that was actually something. And what was the transition like from being a player to being a coach, and what happened that made you transition from playing to coaching?
The transition from playing to coaching, for me it was pretty easy because it was natural. It was like just playing throughout the years. You always get them questions. It's like how you do this move, how you do that. So it's like you just showing, but it's not you not thinking like it's coaching. So it's like it was natural for me. It was like playing basketball. I had gotten to a situation, just being with the wrong crowd, wrong people. I happened to get shot. Once I got shot, it was like pretty much over with. So it just, me loving the game, it was like, what's my next step? Me just working, figuring things out. I just started coaching.
Speaking on getting shot, being the situation right now in New York City, and now 2020, like with the high climate of the violence and all these young kids outside still trying to pursue their dreams. How do you see this playing out going forward for these kids in New York City that's trying to chase the dream of basketball with the rise in crime rate?
The advice I could give with what's going on is like, you just gotta stay focused, man. It's like, you got a lot of kids that are in the middle. It's like, I wanna be cool, I wanna be in the streets, but I wanna play ball. It's like, there's no middle in New York. It's either you locked in on basketball or you in that street life. It's like, we got kids that's playing back and forth and you're gonna get caught up sooner or later. So it's like, if basketball is what you wanna do, then that's what you do. There's no, I wanna be out till 2, 3 in the morning. You gotta be locked in. Like, basketball is basketball.
Who are some of the people in your life that motivated you to act on your dreams?
My mom's pretty much. It's like, I'm self-motivated. That's what gives me the kick and what gives me to keep going. But just having my mom's there just telling me, like, if that's what you're gonna do, you gotta do it. There's no, no U-turns. You're gonna pursue it. You gotta just go hard with it, be effective with it, and give it your all. The same way if you was playing. So it's like, if you're gonna coach, then you're gonna coach. It's not like, all right, I'm gonna coach today and then tomorrow I'm gonna go do something else. Like, if you locked in, you locked in. So I say my mom's.
What did you say basketball means to you?
What basketball means to me, everything. It's like, I went across the whole world from just basketball for free. I got to meet everybody I'm cool with from basketball. All my relationships was built off basketball. So basketball is everything to me. It's like, it's how I eat every day. It's how I buy clothes, how I drive my cars, how I pay my bills. It was all basketball. So it's like, I wouldn't know what I'd be doing without basketball.
What are your top 3 places that basketball took you?
I say Vegas. AAU in Vegas was crazy. I went to school in California for 4 years in high school, free scholarship. So just being in LA. Third, I say Indiana, because I have no business being there. So it's like me going over there, AAU, we won a chip. So, yeah. So
Everybody used to have little tournaments.
it's like, yo, what am I doing in Indiana? So I say that. And I've been way more places than that, but.
Nah, but Indiana's basketball team.
Yep, just being there is like, this is different. So those would be my three.
Who was the first person that said, you know what, I believe in you, I want you to train me, and
Oh,
I'm going to
alright.
buy into the system, and, you know, I believe in you 100%.
The first person that believed in what I was doing as far as the training is a kid named Lenny Cruz. So he used to come 7 a.m. He might be the only person. I'm waking up 7 a.m., working him out, and just building off of him because he's coming every morning, putting his dream in my hands and telling me, I believe in what you're teaching me. I know what you're teaching me is going to help. And the days that I didn't have clients, he was there. So it's like, I say Lenny Cruz.
Where's Lenny Cruz? Where's he from?
He's from Harlem as well. He's about to go to Lehman to play. So it's like an area kid, but he was paying and he was there every morning. So it was like the drills that I wanted to do that I had in my head, I could go.
You perfected that.
With him. So it was like he pretty much gave me that outlet where it's like, yo, I could do it.
At what point did you realize that not only were you good enough, but you had the ability to train the top ranked players and the players with the cloud names and all that?
I would say about my 4th month in, because I haven't been training for over a year yet. So I started 2019 December. So within 3 weeks, I had somebody named Ramsey King hit me up on the gram, and I wasn't familiar with any of them kids that got that clout.
Yeah.
So I happened to be working out. A kid from my building named Tyler. He goes to Cardinal Hayes. They connected, friends, cool. I see my DM. Ramsey hit me. I'm looking. Shit said like 15,000 followers. So I'm like, all right, it's got to be this is an opportunity, basically. I didn't reach out to him. He reached out to me. He came. I did what I did, and he started coming all the time.
What was that feeling for you the first time when you saw somebody with clout? Like, you saw that people were starting to believe and buy into and catch on to what you were doing?
The feeling when people started buying in, it was like, it was a good feeling. It was like, it was random though, because it started happening so quick. It was like, these people could reach out to all these people in New York, and they reach out to me. And I just started. We got people that have been training 5-10 years. Well, they could be right in them, but it haven't hit me. So I get the opportunity, I'm not going to play with it.
What do you think separates you from those other trainers? And what do you think it is that makes you stand out so much that these younger players are grasping towards you and your program and your style of training?
I think what the difference between me and other trainers is I'm just younger. So it's like my relationship with the kids is a connection there, as far as we might dress the same, we might listen to the same music. It's no gap. I'm 25, I just turned 25 3 weeks ago. So it's like the stuff that you into, I'm into. So you could be yourself around me. I remember being a kid and being with my coach, and there's a big gap where he don't even want to listen to the music I'm listening to, where I feel like I can't even be myself. So when I'm going into it, it's like I want the kids to feel comfortable where it's bigger than basketball. All the kids that I train is beyond basketball. It's like they hit me about their problems. I got a relationship with their parents, where it's like they just look at me as a big brother rather than that's my trainer. So I think that's what the difference is between me and all these other trainers.
Yeah, that leads to my next question. What are some of the principles outside of basketball that you try to instill into your players?
The principles I try to install into the players is basically discipline. Like, you have to have discipline. You have to have guidance. You can't just be outside thinking it's cool and just roaming the streets. You got kids that they don't have no guidance at home. They go home and they do what they want. So me just being that coach and that big brother figure, I try to tell them like, yo, what's right from wrong. So that's pretty much it.
Where did you come up with the name Island Work, and what does that represent? What does your brand represent, and where does the name come from?
The name Island Work, it came up from a kid that passed away. His name is Brandon Hendricks. I was working out with him, and he just kept on saying like, yo, Mel, let me get on the island, and I'm going to do what you do. I'm going to do what you teach me. I'm like, damn, that's tough. So I hit him up. I'm like, what you think about island work? He was like, I'm rocking with it. Like, if you was to promote it, I think it would branch off. And that was an idea of mine as well. It's like, my training company name is JS3 Training, because that's my name, Jamel Sanders III. But I knew as far as the kids go, they're not going to be like JS3 Training. You know what I mean? Like, that's not hip. But it's natural to say island work. So I hit him up, and me and him going back and forth, and he was like, yo, that's dope. You do island work, it's gonna get out there, and it's just gonna attach to other people. It's like, you're not gonna forget the name. It's gonna stick. So I just ran with it after me and him had that discussion. Rest in peace to Brandon Hendricks.
Where do you plan on taking your brand, and what kind of impact, what's your brand state, like what's your brand mission? What kind of impact are you looking to have, not only on the kids, but also on the industry and on people outside of basketball?
All right, so I'm at, pretty much, what you asking?
What's the plan for you? Like, what's your plan? What's your end game? What does success look like for you?
All right, I got you. So what I'm trying to do with my brand pretty much is try to get that player development coach in the league. When it's all said and done, that's pretty much it. That's my goal. That's when I feel like I've won. When it's like I could step into one of them NBA teams and I'm that trainer. Like, I look at the guys like Shamgar. He's a player development coach. He's himself though. He's teaching the game. I look at guys like Phil Handy. Those are guys I look up to, and that's where I feel I want to be. I want to be on that level.
What kind of work do you think it's going to take for you to get there? And the second part to that is, what kind of work are you putting in daily to achieve that goal?
The work to get there, it's going to be hard. Nothing's easy, but I'm a hard worker. So as far as getting there, I'm going to get there. I don't have no doubt about it, because I know daily the amount of time I put in every day. It be days where I'm doing 3-4 workouts a day from different times. I done had stuff where I work the kids out from 8-10 in the morning, leave, come back 3 to 6, and then work out at night 9 to 11. This is stuff that's documented as well, so it's not like I'm making it up. This is days I'm going with just training back and forth where I might not even be getting paid, but it's something that I love to do, where it's like I'm gonna put my energy and time into something I enjoy. So as far as the hard work goes, I'm locked in.
If you made it tomorrow, you accomplished your dream, and you were training in NBA, what would be the first thing that you do for yourself if you accomplished your dreams and you were successful? If you made it tomorrow, what would you do?
The first thing I'll do if I was to make it tomorrow, I'll buy my own gym. I'll buy my own gym where I'll run the building and I know what I could put out. It's my gym. I know how many players I could train. It's just mine. It's something I could go on to. It's like I could set up a game plan as far as 7 days a week I'm going to work out 4 or 5 hours a day. I could set up goals as far as like this amount of money I could make, just putting in the work. So the first thing I would do is get my own gym. I don't have to answer to nobody. I could work with who I want to work with. So that'd be the first thing I do. I won't go buy no car. I ain't looking to buy no big crib. I'm getting a gym.
Nah, that's dope. Who would be your 3 pick if you train any 3 NBA players?
The 3 NBA players I wish I could train right now: Kyrie Irving, Jason Tatum, and my last one would probably be LeBron. Like, it's LeBron. It's LeBron.
What coach that's in the NBA or in college would you compare yourself to? Or would you say that is similar to your style and the concept and the principles that you hold?
The coach I feel like I'm most relatable to is Doc Rivers, because he has structure. Like, he's not one of them coaches that you just gonna play with, but he's also that coach that he'll let you get right. You'll see CP3, they throwing lobs when they had that Lob City stuff. He's letting them play, but they got that structure at the end of the day. He's locked in. He's not one of them coaches where you can't be yourself. So I say Doc Rivers.
What role do you think coaches play in a player's life aside from teaching them basketball? What other roles do you believe a coach should play in a player's life?
The roles I feel coaches play in players' lives is it's like a parent role. It's like I might be a father figure to some of these kids because they might not have a father at home. They might not feel comfortable enough to have conversations with their father. So it's bigger than basketball, like I was saying earlier. So it's like you might have that real connection with a kid where he feel like he could look up to you no matter what. So I say it's like being a parent.
Have you been getting a positive or a negative reaction from the community at the pace that you've been moving, you know, with everything picking up so fast and all the top players wanting to train with you?
The reaction I'm getting from the kids opposed to trainers or coaches are two different. It's different. From the kids, it's like they rock with it. They want to work out with me. They see everything that's going on. They love it. As far as some of the trainers, they critique what I do because my style of play is now old school. So what I'm teaching is now old school, which is nothing wrong with if that's your style of train. Everybody's training is different. The way I train is today's game. You gotta teach a kid how to do certain things that they just can't do on their own. Whereas like you see trainers, they make you put up 300 shots, which is fine. But if you're paying me as a trainer, I'm not about to let you shoot 300 shots because you could do that on your own. Exactly. So if you coming to me, I'm going to teach you stuff that you can't do on your own, which is difficult stuff, it might be different moves. But this is what goes into what they're asking me when they want to work out with me, which is stuff trainers don't know. I don't just go up and say, we're going to dribble and do this. Every kid that works out with me, the first question I say, what is our focus? What are you trying to get better in? Same thing when parents hit me up. They say this, my kid needs to come to the island, which is funny. Yeah, he could come, but what is our focus? What do you want him to work on? So with the kids, it's like, they like what I do. I think that's what keeps all the kids coming, which make all the top high schoolers, some of the college dudes, they hit me up because they see what I'm doing is what they're interested in. As far as the trainers getting back to them, some of them reach out, like shout out to J.R. Levy. He'll reach out and say dope stuff. He's a young trainer. So me and him are on the same lane. It's like we're teaching the kids what we think they need to be learning. So you get the good with the bad.
You think we can get back to that brotherhood in basketball in New York City?
Do I think we'll get back to the brotherhood in New York City? Honestly, I don't think so. Because in New York, it's too much tension. It's like, it's not too much people that's genuine that just want to help. Or everybody wants to outdo the next person in New York, which is messed up because that's how the kids move. The kids see what older guys are doing is like, you want to outdo the next person when the next person might not even be worried about you. Well, you could do something with them just to help the kid. I have kids that work out with me and other trainers, and I tell their parents, let them go with other trainers because it might be stuff that he's teaching that I don't teach. If you want the kid to win, you let him go with other trainers. It's certain people that be like, he only got to stay with me. So he's only getting your knowledge, which is not, I'm not saying that you can't teach him, but it's like, that's not right. You got to let him expand. I'm not a shooting coach. You let him go with a coach that's a shooting coach. He's going to teach you how to shoot. He's going to get your form right. I'm doing something totally different where it's going to help the kid. So as far as New York, I don't think it's going to go to that brotherhood because everybody is just trying to do the next person.
What would your message be? Because there's a lot of young kids out here that don't have access to a coach like you, but don't have anybody in their life to push them. They don't have any support. There's a lot of kids out there that love the game of basketball, but don't have any outlet or don't have resources. But they, for me personally, I believe everything is possible.
Right.
Anything you commit yourself to, and you put in blood, sweat, and tears to it, it's gonna happen.
Right. You're gonna get found.
In some way, somehow, something you're gonna get a response from it. What would be your advice to these kids out there that's holding on to this dream? What kind of motivation? What can you say to them to help them keep going and to help them step over the next hump or whatever it is that they're facing?
So my advice would be for kids is pretty much trying to get to their goals, their dream is self-discipline. If you know in your heart this is what you want to do, then you have to do it. You can't. This is the problem with everybody. Everybody needs a cosign. Everybody needs validation from somebody else. I didn't have no validation. I didn't play New York City basketball. I went away, prep school, California, 4 years. I never played high school basketball in New York City in my life. So I didn't have that handout where somebody say, oh, we remember him from playing. Let's give him a shot. No, it's something that I had in my mind I wanted to do, and I pursued it, and now things are opening up. So they got to do the same thing. Whereas this is what I want to do, so I'm going to pursue it. I got to have self-discipline. I have to have structure.
Who introduced you to Milbank?
Me getting introduced to Milbank was Jellyfan Pay.
Who is Jellyfan Pay, and what was your relationship with him?
Pedro, he's a high-level basketball player in New York City. With him, he hit me up on Instagram, where it wasn't no relationship basketball-wise. I already knew who he was. I was a Milbank kid. When I was a kid, me and Coach Rose, his son was in my same class in middle school. So Little Rose brought me to Milbank, which was I was in 8th grade. So after 8th grade, I went out to Cali, whatever. So I get a DM from Pedro. Pedro's at OS Berry. He's like, I see what you're doing. Can I get a workout? Me, yeah, you can get a workout 100%. You hitting me up. You're a college player. I'm trying to develop that relationship with college players. Cool. Long story short, I work out Pedro. The pandemic happens. We out on the field now. No rims up, no gyms open. I'm still having that relationship with Pedro, and I get invited to Milbank. Just being with Pedro, just working. He's seeing my work ethic. Coach Rose already was familiar with me because of his son, me playing with him back then. I get the call, come into Milbank. I haven't been training nobody probably for 3 months now in the gym. Coach Rose opens the door. I do what I gotta do. I go in, I knock it out. I start getting invited back. So Coach Rose, being the OG that he is, he's seeing my work ethic. He's seeing the type of training that I do. He just opened the door for me, and he put in that belief in me where it's like, I'm going to put this kid under my wing. I see what he's about. I see he's loyal. I see he has discipline. He's trying to work. He's trying to get better. I'm going to open the gate for him. And that's how that relationship started with Rose and Milbank.
What would you say is the biggest impact that Coach Rose has had on your career?
The biggest impact Coach Rose has on my career is just being believeful. Like, you just gotta believe in what you're doing. You don't have to get validation from nobody. If this is what you want to do, then you gotta do it, but you gotta work hard. So him just being an OG, and you see the work Rose put in as a coach for all these years, and him being one of the big dogs in the city, him having belief in you is a big deal, because he don't just mess with anybody. Everybody knows that. Rose is just not, it's gonna just open the door for anybody. So him just having that big brother status towards me is like, I was grateful for it. It's like, yo, you come in here, you do what you gotta do, everything's gonna happen on its own. So I appreciate him for real.
That's a fact. Everybody in the community loves you. Who are some of the other coaches inside Millbank that you work with on a daily basis?
Other coaches I work with in Millbank besides Rose is my guy Jeff, your favorite color. I think Jeff is like the top trainer in the city as far as strength and conditioning. Is like he gets you right. And another thing with Jeff is he's a young dude, so it's like he could relate to the kids and he knows what he's doing. It's like the stuff he does is like you be like, dang, that dude is good. So working with Jeff, that's pretty much it.
The three biggest names that you trained in basketball, in New York City basketball.
The three biggest names that I trained, I would say Brandon Randolph. He plays for the in the G League with the Bucks. That was a big name for me. And that was month 6. I got to train B. Randolph. Second player, I would say Isaiah Washington. You know, he's like the biggest name in New York City. And the third person, I would say Sidney Wilson, UConn. It's a big name for me as well. If you want to train with me, reach out to me on Instagram at Mr. Islandwork. DM me, I answer all my DMs. If you want merch, DM me as well. I got all colors available. It's Coach Mel, Mr. Islandwork. Shout out Dream Basketball.